Hey everyone, it's Tammy from Fight For You Coaching, and I'm really excited today because today we're going to talk about emotional eating versus mindful eating. Crazy the amount of information I found and that I get to share with you guys today. So if I'm looking down just a little bit, I do have notes with me today so that I don't forget all the information that I want to tell you. And always remember that after I'm done with my live videos, I also do a written blog that you guys can check out on my website, and I will post that later on this evening. So today I'm going to talk with you about emotional eating versus mindful eating. As I discussed with you on Saturday, emotional eating is an increase in food intake response usually to negative feelings. We eat our feelings, and we're learning in this process and in this series that feelings aren't very tasty. So mindful eating can help you to learn to pause between those triggers and your responses. And I'm going to share with you today tons of ideas and tips to help you not eat your feelings and do it in a more positive way. Okay, so are you an emotional eater? Do you eat when you're depressed? Do you eat when you're sad? Do you overeat when you're happy? Is it a reward for you? Ask yourself these questions. Do you eat more when you are feeling stressed? Do you eat when you're not hungry or when you're full? Do you eat to feel better, to calm and soothe yourself when you're sad, mad, bored, anxious, etc.? Do you reward yourself with food? Do you regularly eat until you're stuffed yourself to where you're miserable, you can't move, you want to unbutton those pants while you're sitting in the chair? Does food make you feel safe? Do you feel like food is your friend? Do you feel powerless or out of control around food? We don't always eat to satisfy hunger, you guys. We use food as a stress relief, comfort, a reward. Hey, I've been good on my diet all week. Now I can go have a big chocolate ice cream or a big piece of cake. But then it ends up being more than that. We end up eating the whole cake, or we continue throughout the whole weekend and wreck everything that we've worked so hard for during the week. One of the first steps in helping you realize the difference between emotional eating and physical hunger. And that's one of the first steps to differentiate, between the two. Emotional hunger comes on suddenly, and it's an instant need for food. You think you need to have it. It's something you feel you can't live without. If it's physical hunger, it comes on gradually. You become hungry slowly. Emotional hunger, you crave specific comfort foods like chips, chocolate, and it's most generally junk food. Physical hunger, if you're really hungry, you'll eat anything, and it doesn't usually matter what it is. Vegetables, meat, and it's not related to junk food. Emotional hunger, it leads to mindless eating. Like you eat a whole cake versus stopping when you're full, you'll eat the whole thing and you'll keep eating until there's none left. When you're physically hungry, you're more aware of what you're eating, and you're more aware of when you become full, so you know when to stop. On emotional eating, you're not satisfied when you're full. When your stomach is full, you still want more. But on physical hunger, you're satisfied. You know when to stop. On emotional, hunger is all in your head, not in your stomach. But when you're physically hungry, you guys know that feeling when you're absolutely starving and your stomach is growling and it's grumbling and making those noises. That is physical hunger. And number 6, emotional hunger, it leads to regret, guilt, and shame, which makes you repeat this vicious cycle of emotional eating. With physical hunger, there is no guilt. You ate your meal, you moved on, you went on. Emotional eaters are powerless over their urge. They talk and talk and talk and try to talk themselves out of it, but they eventually cave into it. There are many reasons why people are emotional eaters. Some are good and some are not. And some of the most common causes of emotional eating is stress. That's probably the number one cause of why we eat. When you're stressed out, what do? You grab a bag of chips, you grab what's ever there that your body thinks that it's craving. And it's funny because our brain, when we are stressed, releases a hormone called cortisol. And what that hormone does, you guys, is when it's released, it makes us crave sweet, salty, fried foods. So we think we need to have those when we're stressed out, but you really just need to learn to overcome that urge. And I'm going to give you some of those tips as we get further into this discussion. Another one is called stuffing emotion, which makes perfectly good sense. We stuff ourselves to silence those uncomfortable feelings that we're having. We figure if we're stuffing our face and we're concentrated on that, then we don't have to worry about anything else that's going on. We eat out of boredom or our feelings of emptiness. We figure if we eat, we can cover up those feelings of being bored or those feelings of feeling empty on the inside. Another one is childhood habits. Can you guys all remember when you got a good grade on a report card or you did really good at the ball game? What's the first thing that you guys did? You went out for pizza or you went out for ice cream. So, you continue those habits on with yourself and on with your children. Oh my gosh. For example, like I said earlier, I did great on my diet, so I get to go have a piece of cake at the end of the week, and instead of it being one cake, it ends up again throughout the whole weekend of you eating, eating, and eating. Social influences is a big thing as well. We go out and we eat with all of our friends, and instead of listening to what our bodies say, it just is a habit. You continue to eat what's there, what's set in front of you. You're watching a ball game. You continue to eat those chips. You continue to eat that junk, and then, oh, excuse me. And it's a great way to, social influences, sorry guys, it's a great way to relieve stress so we continue to eat. Mindful eating is about identifying your emotional triggers. What makes you want that favorite food? What in your mind triggers you to want that piece of cake or to want that bag of chips? Once you're able to link that to what that is and to the negative thoughts, then it becomes easier to identify your emotional eating habits. I'm going to share with you some mindful eating tips, you guys, that'll help you to press pause before you start eating that whole cake. This is a practice that you definitely have to keep working on. It's not something that just comes. Everything has to become a habit. It takes 21 days to become a habit. So you have to keep practicing these to make them have some good effects. So, ways to feed yourself without food. You have to gain conscious control over your eating habits. In order to stop, you have to find out other ways to fill yourself emotionally without food. You need alternatives. So, if you're depressed or lonely, call a friend. Go outside. Go for a walk. Exercise. Exercise is the medication that I use for depression every day. It is the number one underused antidepressant in the world. So if you're sad or lonely or depressed, push play. Anxious? Guys, dance it out. Think of something happy. Again, breathing exercises are really good for being anxious. Google it, you guys. There's tons of them. And I'm telling you, exercise again. It's great, great stress reliever. Great to relieve everything and get your mind off and want to grab that cookie from the cookie jar. If you're exhausted and you think you want to sit on the couch and eat a bag of chips, choose a cup of hot tea. Take a hot bath. Wrap yourself in a warm blanket. Put a comedy on the TV. Find something else to do to distract yourself from wanting to grab for that food that you're really not wanting and you're not hungry for. Here's a really good tip that I found, and I'm going to start using it. Take 5 before you cave into that craving. You go to reach for that bag of chips, take 5 minutes to figure out why you really wanted those chips. Where are you at with your feelings? What are you feeling emotionally? Even though it may not work and you may go ahead and eat those chips, you're ahead of yourself more than you were the last time, and the next time it happens, you can say, hey, wow, I'm not going to do it this time. Check in with yourself, though, each time that you do that. Even if you eat, know why you do it the next time. Unaware of equals. We're always unaware, and not always unaware equals unconscious eating, if that makes sense. Sorry. So become mindful. Become mindful. Is food your only pleasure? Find other ways to reward yourself, guys. I buy shoes instead of eat food. And if I could show you my closet right now, I will. It's kind of messy, but hold on a second. Look. That's my problem. I no longer eat. I buy shoes. One of the biggest things is that we hate our body. Factors in emotional eating is that we hate our body. You have to stop hating your body to stop the emotional eating. And one way to do that, guys, is look in the mirror every day and say, hey, I'm beautiful. I love myself and I love my body. Start there, start small. Eat small meals and eat frequently. If you do this, then your body doesn't become as hungry as what it was, and then you won't be starving, or you won't think that you need to have that food that you don't really need to eat. And here's and a few more mindful eating tips that I have for you guys. When you go to the grocery store, always have a grocery list. Only buy what's on that grocery list and avoid the junk food aisles. You walk by those junk food aisles, you're going to throw that bag of chips in your cart that you really don't want, you just think you need to have. Come to eat, but don't come starving. If you come to eat and you're starving, you're going to overeat. That's all there is to it. Again, take that tip into mind. 6 small meals a day. Smaller portions. Appreciate your food. Bring your senses to the meal. All your senses, your sight, your smell, your taste. Enjoy that meal and savor what you're eating. Actually enjoy it. Don't inhale it. Take small bites. Chew thoroughly. And eat slow. And most importantly, you guys, stop when you're full. Don't keep nitpicking at the food that's sitting on the table because you think you need it or you want to eat it. Simply stop when you're full, get up, walk away, do dishes, go for a walk, but do something so that you don't continue to sit at that kitchen table and eat mindlessly. Emotional, and just in closing, guys, I want to let you know that emotional eating is real. It is something that happens every day with all of us. It is a vicious cycle that is hard to break, but I know that you guys can do it, and we all must start somewhere. Take these tips, start small, celebrate every victory, don't use every failure as another excuse to reach for that bag of chips. Until we meet again next time, guys, I hope this was helpful. And again, I'll have my written blog up this evening, so be sure to check it out because I do tend to ramble and talk really fast. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.